Zack, great to speak to you as part of Black History Month, which is an annual celebration of excellence across the black community. So I wanted to start by asking you about your idols, your childhood heroes growing up, both inside and outside of football. Who do you look up to?
Oh, okay. Well, inside of football was definitely Tim Howard, playing over here for Everton. First Man United and then Everton, and playing with the national team. For me, playing soccer, or football, he was definitely my favorite goalkeeper. Just very athletic. He was black like myself, and just fun to watch. And then Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, playing for Philly, 'cause that's where I grew up. Those players mostly, yeah.
How significant were they for you and also for the black community there? Because there's some huge icons that you mentioned there.
Yeah, I mean, they're massive. Just like to have that image of kind of yourself to look up to when you're that young and be like, oh, wow, I could maybe do that. But I mean, they were like rock stars. I
was going to ask you about that, what impact that had on you. When you see fellow black athletes achieving, huge things on a global level, does that give you such hope going forward?
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with VOYCENOW, my foundation, is to go into these communities and introduce myself and create a relationship with these kids and show them that with hard work and dedication and discipline, like I said, you can really, the sky's the limit and you can do anything you want.
Yeah, I'm going to speak about your charity in a bit because it's fantastic what you're doing. I just want to ask you, in terms of your journey getting here, you're obviously playing, we're at Man City now, superb training ground. Your journey from MLS and then you went Bundesliga and obviously Premier League, so how difficult that was and the challenges that you faced over the way?
Yeah, I mean, every chapter of life kind of has your ups and downs. MLS was great. I love my time in Columbus. I got a lot of games in MLS, which was really good and important for me. And then I signed with City, which was very surreal when it first happened.
Tell me about that moment when it first happened. When you hear that Man City and Pep Guardiola are in for you, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a joke.
Did you actually?
I mean, I don't know. It was just very surreal. And I just couldn't believe it for a little bit. And then when I came over here and checked out all the digs and everything and signed, then it became a little bit more real, obviously. So then, I signed and went on loan to Germany in Dusseldorf, and that was good as well. I got games as well, but unfortunately I got hurt and only could play 6 months. So that was tough, being injured and being in Germany. But I was lucky to have my sister. She was there living with me, which was really nice, and that helped. And then COVID hit, so we were kind of stranded there for like 2 months, a month and a half. Just with each other, which was a blessing in disguise, because if I was there by myself, it would have been brutally boring.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about how tough that was mentally, because obviously you moved house at quite a young age, moved to Germany, obviously moved to England, back to Germany from America. So how difficult were those challenges adapting to different countries and cultures?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Germany, especially just because of the language barrier and culture. I would say England. Obviously, we speak English.
Yeah.
You guys speak English here, so it's much easier to adapt here for me. And then the culture is a lot more similar than the German culture to America.
And I was going to ask you as well about making it from MLS to Premier League, because it's not something a lot of people do, but it's a lot of American goalkeepers. It seems to be quite a position where we've seen a lot of goalkeepers in the Premier League. You've got the likes of Brad Guzan, Marcus Hanneman, Tim Howard, Casey Keller, yourself. Why do you think that is, that it's a position where so many American players have made it in the Premier League? What's the secret?
That's a good question. I mean, for me, I grew up playing all different sports. I played baseball, basketball, soccer.
Yeah, still call it soccer here.
And then I would play American football with my friends outside a lot. So for me, I'm very athletic, and I think playing those sports really helped my hand-eye coordination and all that stuff. So I don't know if the other goalkeepers played other sports growing up, but for me that definitely helped.
And of course, you signed your first professional contract. I just wondered that moment, how sort of influential that was for you. Did you feel like you had to use your platform for good and use your profile to help other people? Did you feel like you had a calling for that?
Well, like growing up, my mom was very big on treating others how you want to be treated, and just being kind and being nice and having a big heart, and And that's exactly what I want to do. I mean, she ingrained that in me, so that's the type of person I am. Now that I have this platform, I want to give back, and I want to help the people who aren't as fortunate as me, and don't have all the opportunities and support that I had growing up that got me to where I am today.
You mentioned your charity earlier, VOYCENOW. Where did the inspiration come from for setting that up, and tell us a little bit about how that's been going?
Yeah, so it was created after the killing of George Floyd. It's all about just using your voice and speaking up against racism, and then it's all about just giving back to the Black communities who need support and opportunities, and it's all about just giving them whatever the kids need in that city, whether it's books, Wi-Fi, food. So we have over 150 athletes, I think, that are kind of in our community and that have supported us. Mainly soccer players that I've kind of come across in my time. My fans and their fans and friends and family have been so supportive and with raising money, and we've made a huge impact so far. Where
would you like to be in sort of 5-10 years time? What would you like to see the future hold?
That's a good question. In 5 to 10 years, man, I hope this foundation's still doing really well and raising money and giving back to the Black community and these kids to give them opportunities that I had growing up, and the support and the belief that they can grow to be where I am today.
Yeah, and of course you're in a team here full of superstars, full of world-class players, manager as well. I just wonder how often you have these conversations sort of that aren't related to football with the likes of Pep Guardiola and some of your teammates. Do you sit down and discuss racism and the need for equality and other off-the-field issues? Is that something that happens quite regularly?
Well, I mean, I think everybody does that in their own work. I mean, as headlines come up and events in the world come up, I think everybody has those types of conversations, and we do the same thing here.
And they're all very supportive of the work you're doing, I presume.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, they're great.